I've always been drawn to the idea of chasing the other thing. I'm talking about having that personal escape, not just doing what you're told, but doing what feels right. I think it has something to do with going against the received narrative.
By some measure, Singapore is a welfare state, taking care of the less fortunate. But at its heart, it's a cold-blooded meritocracy.
We work hard to get something. Once lazy, we are out.
You follow the rules, and there are many, work hard, and you'll have a good life. That's the message.
A narrative that we are all too familiar with. And that's why I have the utmost respect for those who rebel.
The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently.
Those who chase the other thing. And I think they are all around us. Tell me about something that you are passionate about.
I like to do film photography, so I like to take pictures of people and stuff around here.
I'm passionate about going outdoors, like hiking, cycling.
I'm passionate about the Bible. Yeah, so what I do is teach, share with anybody I can meet with.
I think something that I'm passionate about is designing products, understanding the usefulness of products in people's lives.
I think last time I would say filming lah.
Are you pursuing this thing that you're passionate about? Is it a struggle for you?
Currently it's been a very big struggle. It's very difficult to make some time to do something that I like, which is just to go around and shoot stuff.
I'm currently struggling with time, school and volunteering and work. Like I can envision myself having a fixed working schedule, and then at night or like on the weekends I'll have more free time.
I think the struggle is in terms of worldview kind of thing. I've graduated for 3 years already. Sometimes I find myself inevitably comparing. But I think as a Christian, there are souls that need to be saved now and in the present.
Sometimes you want to design something that you like, but then the clients don't really want it that way. It kind of hinders me from like wanting to work in those kind of job roles. So like I think now a hurdle that I'm facing right now is finding that kind of job where I find fulfillment in doing what I'm doing, but at the same time, like, it's something that's available for me. Yeah.
Videography takes a lot of, actually there's a lot of planning involved, especially editing takes like super long. I think it takes time lah. Hopefully after I graduate or something, maybe I still can be a freelance editor or something outside. Yeah.
Are you excited for that?
See how well is the pay.
So, I wanted to speak to two people who took the leap to chase what they loved. Being an engineering student and an aspiring filmmaker myself, I thought, who better to approach than those like myself? Meet the filmmaker turned engineer, Raphael.
Good. How do you feel about being back here? Interesting. You know, brought back a lot of memories of youth, I guess.
What's your favorite thing about this campus?
I think there are a lot of places to hide. So as students, we would, you know, sneak into kind of these staircases, exit, enter. We would see it as our little like tunnels lah, to play around. We would use that to like kind of escape school, get out. Yeah. I mean, I worked for like this esports team, and I also made a documentary for them, and it was fun. Like I had a camera, and I was just following the team, going for like competitions and whatever lah, you know. Then I started doing some video projects in SOTA.
Great job.
Stop motion.
Chelsea rice. Even fried
promo material for like ballet.
Dance to me is more than just a means of expressing myself.
Inspirations. I think my favorite film director has always been David Fincher. Seven, Zodiac, Gone Girl. It was really through that I realized that actually film as a medium was something that I was interested in lah. I started at Carousel maybe in 2016. So I haven't like graduated yet. I was like kind of in my final year I would come to class and really my mind wouldn't really be here. I remember I was in the army, I was already in the army, right? One day I booked into BMT and then I looked at the date and I was like, it's damn familiar. And then I remembered, oh wait, no, today's my graduation. But I totally didn't want to go.
6 years ago, Raphael Yee was at the lowest point in his life. He was 18 then and fell into depression after struggling with a change in school environment and a breakup. That experience spurred him to come up with a therapy app with his friends. Steady allows users to text for free with a volunteer who provides a listening ear.
So currently I'm a student in SUTD. I'm studying computer science and my day-to-day really is a lot of the computer science work, a lot of coding, a lot of math, I guess, which is a lot more than what I used to do back in art school. Well, having been to art school at least twice, right? From secondary school and then pre-tertiary, I was an art student always. So when it came down to, picking a school and picking a major, I was kind of stuck. On one hand, I had experienced the joy of coding before. I had grown to love it. But then you remember like, oh no, all this time you've been enamored by some other subject or some other discipline, academic discipline. And so on a personal level, when I decided, okay, no, I'm going to come to SUTD and do computer science, I knew what I was sacrificing. Like I knew that I wasn't going to be doing film or philosophy at a collegiate level.
It's about a dream that I had.
But I think when I took the leap, I knew that the passion that I had for computer science would last me through my academic journey. I remember when I first started like SUTD, in term 1 was actually the hardest term for me. I was completely new to physics, even chemistry. I was learning all this for the first time. It was challenging, but I think that at the end of the day, of course there's always this battle, right? You as a student, you want like great GPA, you want a high GPA, you want to feel validated. But I think on a more personal level, for me, I've always sought like curiosity. I felt like as long as I feel curious about it, I will go deeper lah. And I felt like that has carried me through some level of my learning journey.
I wanted to ask about the regrets.
Okay.
In truth, is there any regrets? 6 years in the arts.
Actually, I don't think so. And then the reason is because I feel like whatever extra years that I spent, like 2 extra years, they added so much color to my life that I just wouldn't have now. I don't feel that regret anymore. You don't really know whether it's a U-turn until you kind of reach the end, right? If I really want to do something, I guess I'll do it lah. Maybe I'm impulsive. Maybe I see something and I just feel like there's a huge urge to dive into it. I will lah.
But can we really dive into things with reckless abandon just like that? I wanted to see this from both sides of the coin. Meet Aditya, the engineer turned filmmaker, out of necessity. With an education background similar to mine, Aditya found his way by chasing his passion for film production.
My name is Aditya. I created Split Second Studio. It's a company that I created out of necessity, not out of passion initially. Initially I just did it so I could get jobs to my name and get some filmmaking experience. But now it's a company, it's a studio, it's an agency, whatever you want to call it, that I want to grow to do films at the end of the day. Be it more creative commercials, ads, anything that could constitute a film, which is something that requires some sort of creative writing. I was okay as a coder as well. I had a knack for coding and I actually did enjoy coding. Yeah, I don't regret joining SUTD or anything, doing my tech degree or anything like that. I picked ISCD, very easy choice. I used to code before I joined school. So when I joined school, I had a goal of joining ISCD and learning how to code. But I was always fascinated by design. So I decided to do UI UX. I did do an internship when I was in SUTD. It was a tech internship. It was the safe route and the money would have been okay if I continued over there. But I really hated waking up and going to work, even though the work was okay. But it was just to get by. Nothing that I would remember, nothing that honestly that changed me, nothing that make a huge impact in my life. So.
Okay, I guess were there people who doubted you going onto this career path?
The number one person who doubted in me was myself. I mean, everybody has been super supportive. being encouraging and supportive of my choice is one thing, but they've also been very like, I cannot see you as anything else. I can only see you as a filmmaker, you know. Both the profs here, Sandeep and James, they have also been supportive, and they've also given me the confidence that I can do something like this.
So about films, talk about what was it like to make films in the engineering school?
Right. I'm sure you can answer that as well now.
Yes.
I first joined productions. That was my first exposure to filmmaking in SUTD. We made a very, very weird film called Dawn of Doron, which I heard somebody else made a second part of very recently. I'm surprised. I'm surprised somebody found that interesting enough to do a second part of it. Okay, great. I think it was the first film I ever made, Dawn of Doron, in SUTD at least. There was one shot where Doron is doing the shoulder presses, and on his last rep, he puts this up, and then the log disappears, and then controllers appear in his hand, and then he just pulls it down. And that still makes me laugh. But I think that's how I got comfortable with all the productions members, and it helped me. Yeah, when I decided, okay, I really want to join the club, and I really want to do more film stuff, and they adopted me. I filmed the opening scene of my orientation video, the pre-orientation video over here. It was like a weird one take, like super long one take with a lot of things happening in the background.
Is it the same camera shot that we are getting now?
I mean, it's getting, I can see myself in the camera. Filmmaking was definitely very interesting initially when we filmed, because we really filmed like a lot more than we had to, like around campus. So I remember different parts of campus, and all the different parts of campus in my head are like 85mm frame shots.
Compared to the people that you were with here in SUTD, those who have gone on to do, I guess, what they expected to do.
Yeah.
How do you compare to them now? Do you feel the regret?
Oh, I will say pay gap not so much. Even though the work is usually sporadic when it comes to creative business, it's always like that. When you can close the client, I'm confident that the client will be of high value usually. But when there is no client, like when there's nothing like open, that's when it gets worrisome. The money is okay, like there's no, but the security that other people have, right? Like Friday you can switch off, and Saturday, Sunday you can relax, and then you have something at work waiting for you on Monday, and you have a fixed number of leaves, and you can plan holidays, and you can do all these things which offer security, right? At times when I am super taxed, it does feel a little bit, I get like a bit jealous, and you feel, yeah, it would be nice to have that security.
I guess that's the reality, that life is more complicated than whether or not you can do what you love. And that whole idea about chasing, living your dreams.
When people say living the dream, usually they will think of something much more glamorous, especially when it comes to like a field like this.
I know a classmate who was actually about to leave SUT, leave school last year. They wanted to do art. The reason why they didn't go was they couldn't get a scholarship. They didn't really have the finances to be able to do that. In fact, maybe I chose the easy route, right? Like going from art to computer science. But I think art is different, right? You go into it purely because there's something you want to say, something you want to do. There are things that you kind of want to create.
I am chasing my dream, but in a general sense, I'm not living the dream. Definitely, my life is very problematic.
Do I feel like I'm living a dream right now? I remember when I was doing film, there was one particular moment, I still remember that moment very clearly. It was such a visceral experience, and I felt like overwhelmed. And I just felt like, wow, I am living the dream. And especially when I'm working with, say, my peers like Bryce. There are always moments where suddenly I will just turn to him and I'll be like, bro, I think like we're doing something. I think there are like multiple of these moments, and at any point you always feel like, oh, I'm living the dream, I'm living the dream, I'm living the dream, and that's probably a signal as to whether you are going down the right path. What does it even mean to have the dream? What does it mean to be living the dream? You know, I feel like the dream always changes. The dream is just always there.
A lot of my life experiences have taught me that chasing is always better than reaching. Yeah, so I'm chasing my dream, and I hope I never reach my dream, because the day I reach my dream, I wouldn't know what to do when I wake up the next day.
In the end, maybe it's not about rebelling, going against the grain. It's about going all in for whatever feels right. Everyone you meet on the street is chasing something of their own. Their other thing.